welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. Today we're going to use a paper rose stamp set called Daisy Border. This is 4x6 and an old to new birthday greetings. Now this is a little bit, I've had this for a little while, so I'm not too sure if it's still available. And we're going to use some dies from Paper Rose as well that are a lot of the dies, especially that we get here in America, from America I should say, are the American rectangles and American size cards, whereas ours we just use an A4 here, and then we cut it in half and then of course fold it, blah blah blah. So it works out to be an Aussie A. The front is an Aussie A6. So these are cut to that size. They have the stitched rectangles and they have the plain square. Now a lot of my American friends, they die cut the front of their cards. We don't do that so much in Australia, but when you are doing what I'm doing, it comes in handy. So we're going to use that today. So we're going to emboss this with clear embossing folder, and I'm going to stamp this twice just to make sure, because I think I use the Expressit watercolor, aquacolor it's called, Expressit aquacolor watercolor paper, and I like this because it's quite white. It's really nice. I'm going to clear emboss this, and I'm going to do it actually twice because I just wanted to get it to be nice and solid lines. So I've got a little bit of fluff there. So I'll hit that off screen. So I've done that again to save you a little bit of time, and we're going to do exactly the same. This card goes south. It goes south for the winter. It starts out, I wanted a really pretty, almost one layer cardstock, and I wanted it to be with black, a strip of black sort of cutting off between the sentiment and the border, the flowery border, but that's not going to work. Now this tape is blue painter's tape, and it's not something I use very often at all. You can sort of see the embossing there. And we're just going to, back to this, we're just going to play around with the sentiments. There was two that I was sort of half thinking about, but we're going to go with the It's Your Birthday. So we've got the Uniquely Creative Aqua Colors. Now they don't label theirs, but I've labeled, whoops, just knocked something over. I labeled mine. And so we've got some green. Now when they've come out of the packet when I first bought them, I labeled mine from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc, etc, etc. And then the next row continued on. So mine got numbered left to right from when you get them. So I'm using the number 2 and number 21, which is just 2 greens. And this is not anything special with this coloring. This is actually not even using water to blend it in. This is using the pens itself. The next 2 are going to be 2 blues. So I've got number, it's smudged, number 5 and number 6. And we're just using the lighter color to blend it in. So it's really nothing flash at all. At all, people. Later on, we're going to use some grey, which I forgot to press the record on. And we're going to cut out very shortly, and I'm going to come back. It's just trying to save it. Everything was colored exactly what it is, putting the dark color down and blending it out a little bit with the lighter color. So this is a brown. So this was number 12 in my pack. There's nothing flash about this. Oh, forgot a bit. Adding the brown in, it's just straightforward. It's really, really super simple. The grey is going to be a little bit more in depth because I put it around the side. But all it is I've laid a little bit of grey onto a acrylic block and used a paintbrush. Now I've used way too much paint here because my black paint just sort of vomits everywhere out, and we're going to really water it down. Keep going and try to get it to just be a really nice consistency to make splatters. Now, I don't like painter's tape. I never actually really have, hence I've got it and I just don't use it. And I've decided I really, really don't like painter's tape. The purple tape in Australia is really hard to get unless you want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on getting the purple painter's tape. So we've dried all that off, which I think is my problem. Now I start to peel this off and I'm going to cut it off because this is where it goes south. Did you see that little tiny rip? And honestly, I'm doing this so slowly, but it is being nasty. And that my cardstock is ripped. So you can see what I was aiming for, having two nice little black strips, just like that, without the white bit in the middle. So I don't throw out a card. We don't stop. Go hard or go home. So what I'm going to do is on that white strip of paper, we're just going to emboss that with VersaFine Black Onyx ink on another strip of paper. Now this has already got a tape around the back. We do need to add a little bit more glue on it, but it's already got some tape. And we're going to add that onto the card front and just trim it down. And this is where I'm just making sure it's straight. So it wasn't, I wanted it almost one layer, bar two black lines, but you know, yeah, ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, mate. So we're going to emboss this in clear and we're going to pop it over the top, and then we're going to have two thin strips of black on either side of that to frame it. So it doesn't just look like you've just plonked a white piece of cardstock in the middle of your card, which I sort of did, but we'll get over that. So this card is pretty quick. It's pretty simple. I do have an interesting story to tell you. I met my first little scorpion. Now, a friend of mine said many years ago that she got bitten by a scorpion, but honestly I didn't really believe her. But Australia has them. Australia has them, peeps. I tell you, I met him. Well, him. There's probably one more than him. We named him George. Now I can just hear all my friends that went away to camp laughing and giggling at our story. But we named him George. He was not long for the world. But it was quite interesting. And I was told that they glowed in the dark. So I wanted to go for a walk in the middle of the night. And I wanted to find one that glows in the dark. But unfortunately, this is where we're going to cut it out of our A6 card front. And I'm going to... Everything was a little bit crooked. So we had to do it again and straighten it out. So I wanted to go for a walk and I wanted to find a glowing scorpion. But later on I found out they only glow if you put a black light on them. But anyway, doesn't matter. And so this is where I've had my grey cardstock, my grey pen, and I've coloured around the back of it. So I've just put a little bit down on a acrylic block and just painted it in the background. And I forgot to press record. So we're just using a Marvy jewel picker and adding this on, and we're using it's sort of a Stampin' Up thing of glossy accents. So you use multi-matte medium, I wouldn't recommend glossy accents because it's so clear and if it oozed out, but that's pretty much our card. I've just got a bit of goo bit on the bone. I hope you enjoyed, and like and subscribe, and we shall catch you on the next one. All the information will be on the blog. Thank you.